History is full of surprising characters, each with their own unique stories and contributions that have shaped the world we live in today. But few are as baffling and enigmatic as Timothy Dexter, a man whose life story defies logic and expectation. Born in poverty in the mid-18th century and lacking any formal education, Dexter managed to defy the odds and become one of America's first millionaires. His journey from rags to riches is nothing short of extraordinary. How did he achieve this remarkable feat? By being, in the estimation of many who knew him, a complete and utter idiot. Yet there was something about Dexter that set him apart. This is not to say that Dexter wasn't shrewd in his own peculiar way. Despite his apparent lack of common sense, he possessed an uncanny ability to turn the most absurd ideas into profitable ventures. His path to riches was paved with decisions so ludicrous, so head-scratchingly absurd, that one can't help but marvel at his accidental genius. From shipping coal to Newcastle to selling warming pans in the tropics, Dexter's ventures seemed destined for failure, yet they inexplicably succeeded. Dexter's story is a testament to the unpredictable nature of fate, a hilarious reminder that sometimes even the most nonsensical actions can lead to extraordinary outcomes. His life serves as a fascinating case study in the power of luck, audacity, and sheer stubbornness. Buckle up, dear reader, as we delve into the life and times of this unlikely entrepreneur. Join us on a roller coaster journey through the bizarre and bewildering world of Timothy Dexter, a man who proved that occasionally it pays to be utterly clueless. Prepare to be entertained, amused, and perhaps even inspired by the story of a man who turned foolishness into fortune. Timothy Dexter's life began in 1747 in the humble town of Malden, Massachusetts. His parents, Irish immigrants, were far from wealthy. Young Timothy's formal education ended at the tender age of 8, when he was sent off to work on a nearby farm. It wasn't exactly the glamorous start one might expect for a future millionaire. At 13, he apprenticed to a tanner, learning the pungent art of transforming animal hides into leather. This was honest, if not particularly glamorous work, but Dexter, it seemed, was destined for a different kind of stink. The kind that comes with being spectacularly, publicly, and profitably wrong. Dexter's life took a turn when he married Elizabeth Frothingham, a wealthy widow. This union not only brought him companionship, but also a significant boost in his financial status. Suddenly, he found himself with money and time on his hands. Dexter, who had always been a man of peculiar ideas, now had the resources to bring his wildest dreams to life. What did he do? He invested in a series of ventures that most considered utterly foolish. His friends and acquaintances often shook their heads in disbelief at his decisions. The most famous of these was his decision to ship coal to Newcastle. This was a move that seemed destined for failure. Newcastle, for those unfamiliar with 18th century British geography, was a major coal-producing center. It was the heart of the coal industry, with its mines supplying much of the country. Shipping coal there was like selling sand to the Sahara. It was an idea so absurd that it became the talk of the town. And yet, Dexter did it. He was undeterred by the naysayers and skeptics. With a determined spirit, he loaded his ship with coal and set sail for Newcastle. And to everyone's surprise, he made a fortune. His seemingly foolish venture turned out to be a stroke of genius. It turned out a miners' strike had crippled Newcastle's coal production, creating the perfect opportunity for a clueless American with a boatload of coal to swoop in and save the day. Dexter's timing was impeccable, and his gamble paid off handsomely. News of Dexter's success spread like wildfire. Newspapers hailed him as a visionary, and people couldn't stop talking about the man who had defied all logic and won. Dexter's newfound wealth and fame brought him a life of luxury and admiration. He became a symbol of unconventional success, proving that sometimes the most absurd ideas can lead to the greatest rewards. His legacy as an absurd entrepreneur lives on, reminding us that fortune often favors the bold and the unconventional. Emboldened by his coal-shipping coup, Dexter felt invincible. His confidence soared as he realized that his unconventional ideas could actually work. Dexter embarked on a series of even more absurd ventures, each more outlandish than the last. He was determined to prove that his success with coal was not a fluke. One of his first ventures was shipping warming mittens to the tropics, a place where the climate was anything but cold. Dexter reasoned, albeit incorrectly, that they would be a novelty item. Shockingly, he was right. Sailors, it turned out, found the mittens perfect for handling ropes in the hot sun. The thick fabric protected their hands from burns and blisters. The mittens became an unexpected hit among the sailors, who praised Dexter for his ingenuity. Dexter couldn't believe his luck but was thrilled with the positive feedback. Buoyed by this success, Dexter then purchased stray cats in bulk. He had heard rumors that the Caribbean islands were struggling with a pest problem. He shipped the cats to the Caribbean, where they were in high demand for pest control. The islands were overrun with rats and mice, and the cats were a natural solution. The cats quickly adapted to their new environment and began to thrive. Islanders were grateful for Dexter's foresight and willingness to help. Not stopping there, Dexter even exported Bibles to the deeply religious East Indies. Many thought this was a fool's errand, as the region was already well supplied with religious texts. Ignoring the advice of those who considered it a waste of time, Dexter pressed on. He believed that there was always a market for well-made, beautifully bound Bibles, and in each case, against all odds, he turned a profit. Dexter's ventures, no matter how absurd they seemed, always found a way to succeed. Word of Dexter's improbable successes spread like wildfire. People were amazed at his ability to turn the most unlikely ideas into profitable ventures. He became a local legend, celebrated for his daring and creativity. Dexter's story was told and retold, inspiring others to think outside the box. Dexter became a walking, talking testament to the idea that fortune favors fools. His story was a reminder that sometimes taking a risk and following an unconventional path can lead to extraordinary success. Section 5. A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, a literary masterpiece. Not content with conquering the world of commerce, Dexter decided to try his hand at literature. He penned a book, A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, a bizarre and rambling autobiography filled with misspellings, grammatical errors, and bizarre pronouncements on everything from politics to religion. Oh, and it had absolutely no punctuation. When readers complained, Dexter responded in the most Dexter way possible. He released a second edition of the book, this time with a page full of punctuation marks at the end. Readers, he declared, could punctuate the book however they pleased. Unsurprisingly, the book became a bestseller, further cementing Dexter's reputation as an eccentric genius. Section 6. The Curious Case of the Staged Funeral. Dexter's eccentricity knew no bounds. To gauge his family's true feelings for him, he decided to stage his own funeral. He had his wife plan the whole affair, complete with a coffin, mourners, and a eulogy. He then hid in his house and watched as the funeral commenced. His wife, however, wasn't buying it. She carried on with her life, seemingly unconcerned by her husband's sudden demise. Dexter, furious at her apparent lack of grief, stormed out of hiding and began berating the mourners, even going so far as to cane his wife for her perceived callousness. The funeral, needless to say, was abruptly cancelled. With his fortune secured, Dexter built himself a grand mansion in Newburyport, Massachusetts. The mansion was a testament to his eccentric tastes, adorned with 40 wooden statues of famous figures, including George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte, and of course, Timothy Dexter himself. Each statue bore an inscription, penned by Dexter himself, extolling his own virtues and accomplishments. The mansion became a local tourist attraction, a monument to the man who had, through a combination of luck, audacity, and sheer unadulterated weirdness, become one of America's first self-made millionaires. Section 8. Luck or Genius, Unraveling the Dexter Mystery. So, was Timothy Dexter a lucky fool or a shrewd businessman disguised as a buffoon? The debate continues to this day. Some argue that his successes were pure chance, a series of happy accidents that no one, not even Dexter himself, could have predicted. Others maintain that beneath his eccentric facade lay a cunning mind, a man who understood the power of publicity and wasn't afraid to take risks. They point to his uncanny ability to exploit market inefficiencies, often to the bewilderment of more sophisticated merchants. Section 9. Lessons from an Accidental Millionaire, Embracing the Absurd. Whether a fool or a genius, one thing is certain. Timothy Dexter's story is a delightful reminder that life is full of surprises. It's a story that encourages us to embrace the absurd, to challenge conventional wisdom, and to never underestimate the power of a little bit of luck. So, the next time you're faced with a seemingly ridiculous opportunity, remember Timothy Dexter. You never know. It might just make you a millionaire.